Hello, beautiful souls. Okay, 1st of July, lots of energy moving. I thought we could do a little bit of a clearing. So, there's a technique that I learned a few years back called the emotion code, and it is all about clearing emotions that are stuck in the body. And if you think about it, if we go through stuff and maybe we don't know what we're feeling at the time, or we're already overloaded, or there's just so much happening, we don't even know where to begin to process things. It can get really stuck and stuffed down in the body. And the way that I kind of tend to describe it to people is if you think about your refrigerator and think about it as an empty refrigerator, and it's all sparkly and spacious and clean and lovely. And then you make a meal and you make a little bit too much food and you put the leftovers in a container, you put the container in the fridge. You do that enough times without taking something out and you run out of space. And then you're trying to shuffle things around and make room, and there's just no more room for anything. And we can really get to or past beyond capacity sometimes, lots of times. Life is busy, things can get crazy, and it can really feel like things start to build up. And then we wonder why we don't quite feel like ourselves, why we feel run down. And I'm not saying that there's not biological and physiological and environmental things contributing to that. But there's also times where all of this unprocessed stuff, because we just don't know what to do with it, it kind of builds up and it starts to weigh on us. So I thought today, do you know what? Let's just clear some stuff out. Let's take a few of those containers out of the fridge and make a little bit of space in the body, in the mind, in the heart, in the being, in the field, wherever it is for you, that it's like that stuff's kind of been shoved, like you've got pockets everywhere and it's like pockets of just stuff. So if you want to set an intention, please feel welcome to. I'm just going to do the process the way that I was taught to do it. If you know different ways of doing it, feel welcome to adapt it and do this with me. If you want to, let it be very intuitive, or if you want to, let yourself just receive it. And with anything that I do, that we do together, my intent is always that we are connecting in with pure love, with pure light, and that only that which is for your highest good is welcome here. Anything that is not for your highest good is not welcome. So I've got a list in front of me. I'm going to do my self-muscle testing, which I do like this. So I say, show me a yes, show me a no, or I say, show me a lock, show me an unlock. And I've got my list and I literally go through and I ask it to unlock when we get to the column and the row and the emotion that we want to clear. So we're just going to go through, we'll do a few, we'll see what comes up, what we need to clear, and hopefully just make a little bit of space. Bring a little bit of breath back, bring a little bit of peace back. And again, if you want to set an intention, if there's something that you'd really like to get out of this, or to release from this, please feel super welcome to set that intent. So, all right, let's see what we need. So we're column B, we're row 4. All right, we need to release some depression. And that can be mental health depression, it can be energetic depression, it can be anything that feels like it's depressing or compressing us. Any way in which we feel compressed. So if that's showing up for some of us, it might be lower back pain, it might be tightness through the throat, it might be a physical feeling of contract, protect. Whatever it is that's depressing your spirit, whatever it is that's depressing your ability to really express as yourself. You can interpret this however it feels relevant for you. So the way that I was taught to clear it is we've got energy meridians in the body. And if you're familiar with acupressure, particularly acupuncture, they're the points and the channels in the body that acupuncturists work with, gets the energy flowing and moving and restored to a balanced point. So there's a meridian that runs through the body, basically from the anus all the way up the back, along the spine, across the top of the head, down the middle of the face. Now, some people talk about it ending here, and other people talk about it ending inside the roof of the mouth. So a simple way that you can work with your governing meridian is rest your tongue gently on the roof of your mouth. And you can do that now if you want to and just see how it feels. But the way that I was taught to clear these trapped emotions is running the meridian backwards, because it flows up and over. And if we run them backwards, never want to run the heart backwards, just by the way. But the other meridians, if the body needs it, we can run them backwards to either scramble and clear energy or to restore the balance. So we are going to run this governing meridian with the intent that that is safe. Okay. Sometimes there's some responses from this work. This one's feeling heavy. So for some of us, we may have felt depressed for many lifetimes. We may have felt contracted, compressed. It might also not necessarily be yours. You might have inherited it, received it, absorbed it, been surrounded by it, feel like you're drowning in it. And there's a lot of energy in the world at the moment and in the cosmos at the moment, and that stuff can get heavy. So I'm just going to run this until it feels clear, with the awareness in my mind that I'm not only clearing it for myself or one being here. So it's okay if it needs a little bit more love and work. I'm getting so much feedback through this part of the jaw and down into the collarbones as well. All right. This might be a heavy one. For some of us, this might be a really long-term one as well. So we just want to release it safely to the extent that we feel physically able to right now. Oof. All right, and we're just going to sit with the collarbones for a second, because I feel like we really need to ground this one. So through here is kidney meridian. Kidney is water, kidney is flow. We want to get the flow back, but we want that to feel peaceful. We don't want it to feel like floodgates opening and completely overwhelming us. The last thing that we need right now is more overwhelmed. I think we're overwhelmed enough. Most of us, some of us not, sure, and that's cool. Wherever you're at is where you're at. And I think part of it is recognizing it. Where am I at right now? And how much force am I putting into fighting against where I'm at? And is the force that I'm putting into fighting against where I'm at actually making much difference, or is it physically depressing and depleting me even more? So I just want to say too, it's so intuitive when I work. I get drawn where I get drawn. I kind of do what I'm told, to be honest. All right. And there's a lot of stuff going on through diaphragm as well. If you've been having digestive kind of reflux and stuff at the moment too, there's a lot of stuff moving, a lot. It's going to be different for each of us, but there's going to be some really core themes. All right, so I'm just going to check, unlock if that's cleared. Cool. Unlock if we can move on to another emotion. Awesome. So column A this time, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, rejection. Oof. This one just hit me like a wave in the face in the ocean when you just like pound, 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 pound. Okay, so I'm getting a question here. And if you want to ask it to yourself, what part of me is feeling rejected or feeling fear of rejection right now? And for many of us, it feels more like a fear of rejection rather than what feels like it's actively being rejected. It's like, what part of me is in fear? What do I want to show? What do I want to admit? What do I want to allow to surface? But it's a part of me. It's a part of the real me. It's a part of the unfiltered me. I feel afraid about that. All right, so we're going to clear it. We're just going to let go of whatever needs to let go of. We're not forcing, we're not making ourselves release what we don't feel ready to release. We are fully honoring and respecting where each of us is at as individuals. I can feel this one so much through the stomach, but more out to the sides where if you haven't done sit-ups for a really long time like me and you try and do side plank, it's like activating in through that kind of connective tissue in behind the ribs. It doesn't feel like intercostal muscles, which is the muscle tissue between the ribs. It feels more like that connective tissue that if you put your hands on your sides like this, so you're doing it like this and you've got the fingers in the front and the fingers on the back. If you put your fingers there, does it feel tender? So just rest your hands above your hips, around what would be the narrowest part of your waist, and just gently feel with your fingers and your thumb, and just see if it feels a little bit tender through there. For some of us, it's going to be the valve systems between the intestines. So between stomach and which one's first? Large intestine? Don't know, should know, can't remember. But it goes from stomach to one intestine and then the next intestine and then into the colon and the bowel and all of that bit and then out through the anus. So there's this sense of how are the valves feeling? Is everything moving through the way that it needs to? Am I able to digest things fully, or do I feel like I'm chewing on things, chewing on ideas, chewing on decisions, can't make up my mind? So I think one of the valves is the pyloric valve. I think, again, my, I was going to say astrological knowledge, my physiological knowledge, sometimes I know it, sometimes I don't. My brain is not great at retaining things. But this sense of these valves, and are they fully opening the way that they need to? Are they fully closing the way that they need to? Is energy and stuff leaking? Does it feel like you have some sort of leaky gut, or even not quite leaky bowel, but just how are things feeling through your digestive system? Does it feel like things are moving happily and easily? Is it moving a little too easily? Is it not moving at all? Like, we get into all sorts of stuff in healing sessions. There's no such thing as weird in my world. There's no such thing as too much information in my world. It's just, it is what it is, and the body gives us the feedback that it gives us. But I'm really needing to sit, and you can probably see I've got my arms out still. I'm really needing to just massage these spots. So if you need to do that too, feel welcome. If you feel drawn to another part of the body, if you want to just rest your hands in your lap, on your thighs, on your chest, wherever you want to be, and I feel like that's loosening up a little bit. All right, we're going to do one more. Let's just check unlock if that's clear. All right, so appropriate to do one more. Yes, awesome. Column B, row 2, failure. All right, this is a really big one, and I'm getting about 1 million concepts about this at once. So rather than me get into detail on it, because it's not necessarily going to land or resonate, because it's going to be really freaking personal for every single one of us. And I feel like in some aspects, the more we talk about it, the more it's going to trigger, and that's not necessarily helpful. So we're just going to release it. Anywhere in the body, in the brain, in the conditioning, in the coding, in the conscious, in the unconscious, in the subconscious, anywhere that is shoved or stuffed or stored in your body, your being, your cells, yourselves, across timelines and lifetimes, across dimensions, through family lines, wherever that stuff is stored, wherever it's ready to be released. And it gets released and it just goes. We don't have to then mentally process it. We don't have to figure it out. We don't have to understand it. It's like we're just gently pulling that stuff out and we're throwing it away because we don't need it. We didn't always need it in the first place. Sometimes we've got this stuff. We hold this stuff. We hold this stuff for generations, for timelines, for lifetimes. We hold it and we contain it. And it's like, just let it out. And there's so much going on through clenching. I don't know how many of you clench teeth and clench jaws, and how much you're finding this at the moment. And then that comes, you can see that when I do it, how much it puts tension down through the neck, and then how much we're clenching and everything gets tight. And you think about it, if we're talking about an emotion or a concept or a feeling like failure, how much do we hold against that? How much do we hold ourselves trying not to have that happen? How much of it is a holding? And what happens when we let it go a little, even just a little bit? It feels like it brings a little bit of space back for the breath as well. So I feel like it's clear, but I just want to run this a little bit more, but not too much. All right, and I'm getting a little bit of feedback through here too. So, okay, we're going to round out. I'm going to take my glasses off. We're going to round out with a little bit of ESR, which is emotional stress release. It's acupressure. So if you run your fingers up and down your forehead, there's going to be one spot somewhere for you on the forehead between the hairline and the eyebrows that feels like it sticks out, or it's a little bit lumpy bumpy compared to the rest of the forehead. And with your fingers or your palms, whatever feels most comfortable for you, hello, just find that spot and rest there. So this is really special. I love this technique so much. It's instant relaxation and recalibration. It literally helps to rewire the nervous system. So when we get into fight flight mode, the digestive system shuts off, the frontal cortex shuts down, the blood goes from the center of our body to our limbs, because everything in us says, I'm going to have to run or I'm going to have to fight, like pure biological fight flight response, which is one of the reasons why it can be incredibly, almost impossible sometimes to think clearly when we're stressed. We get in a flap and we're going around in circles and we can't make sense of anything and we can't focus and we can't hold a thought in our heads. And why we either need to dash to the bathroom or everything clenches up so tight that we can't release. And this, holding this spot, frontal eminences is what I believe they're called, if I remember right. This is like a reset button for the nervous system. And if you hold it for 5 minutes, maybe longer, depending on how stressed you're feeling, it is a literal signal to your body that it can relax. So this can be really, really nice at night as well. If you are in bed, you're feeling any anxiety, any tension, any stress, you can't get your brain to shut up. If it feels comfortable for you, lie on your side, curl up like you're a kind of fetal position. That way you can rest your head on the pillow, you can rest your hands, so you're not lying on your back like this, because it's kind of uncomfortable holding up your hands like this for ages. But if you lay on your side, if you can physically do that and if that's comfortable for you, can be a really nice way to just hold and give yourself some support as you fall asleep. Lovely to do for other people, fabulous for kids. Fabulous for kids. You can teach them how to do it, call it magic hands or whatever you want to call it. Magic hands is what I was taught. But it gives every individual on this planet a self-soothing tool. And it's cool that I'm actually doing that because it's reminding me of the other thing that I learned about it that I wanted to share. Apparently, and I haven't done reading on this, but this is what I was told, it came about because some scientists noticed that humans, without being told, when they're stressed or can't focus, they often sit there and they do this and they're rubbing their heads, and they were looking at it and thinking, why do they do that? Why do they all do that? What does it have as an effect? Does it have any effect on the body? What does it do? Why do we as humans naturally do that without even thinking about it? And it's because there's this regulation spot. So you can hold that as long as you like. I'm going to check, are we done? Yes. Okay, so unlock if we're done. Cool. Anything else that we need to do? Unlock if there is. No. Unlock if there's anything else we need to know. Are we complete? Yes. Integrated? Yes. Harmonized? Equalized? Stabilized? Aligned? Balanced? Regulated? Cool. All right, so have some water if you want to, have a grounding cup of tea, or if you need to, go put your feet on the earth. Do something that helps you really just come back to yourself for a minute. It could even just be place your hands on your chest and take 4 deep breaths. 4's the number that I'm getting, so let's go with that. But you do whatever feels right for you. And I'm just getting this beautiful waft of sage because I have this massive, marvelous sage stick sitting next to me. So I think I need to do some smudging, make the house smell like sage. That's what we needed. I really hope that's helpful. I haven't really done kind of healings like this, as in just sort of sharing them randomly online before. This is what I do when I work with people. We go where we need to go. You know, anything and everything can come up and I'm just guided. But I felt like middle of the year, start of a new month, start of some fresh energy, lots of stuff moving in the planets, on the earth, in people. I was like, all right, let's just make a bit of room. So I really hope this is helpful. If you want to touch base about anything, if you've got questions, ask, clarify. If you want to share anything, I'm so here for it. And thanks for spending time with me. I'm sending you so much love.